For a long time, I chose to remain silent. I
Grabe.
did so out of respect for the legal process.
Ito na.
I did so because
Parang si Zaldico na nanahimik pero anong ginawa? Kaya nagsalita na rin sa wakas. Tama lang ginagawa mo pero
I did not want to add more noise to an already divisive issue. I did so because I believed that if I cooperated fully, submitted myself to the proper authorities, and answered every question asked of me, the truth would eventually speak for itself. But there comes a point when silence is no longer prudence. My silence has been abused and weaponized to build a narrative that is false, twisted, and unfair. So let me be clear. I will not keep quiet anymore. I will face this
hayat ka na rin ha. Kawawa ka naman.
head on.
Parang kulang na kulang ka sa tulog. Oh. Parang bangkay na oh. Oh. Kulang sa tulog. Yan, ito na yung karma mo. Ang aga. Tinraidor ka na rin ng pinsan mo.
And I will speak with facts because the truth deserves to be heard.
Sige, magsalita ka. Sabihin mo na lahat.
Today, I'm taking this opportunity to speak directly to the Filipino people. From the start of this controversy, I have been cooperative. I personally appeared before the proper authorities. I voluntarily submitted my affidavit to the ICI. I provided the information and documents asked of me. I did not hide. I did not run. I did not evade scrutiny. I faced it head on within the proper channel because I know there is no evidence that proves I committed plunder, conspiracy to commit plunder, or any similar offense that the Ombudsman may be contemplating against me. And because I have nothing to hide, I am today authorizing the immediate public release of the affidavit I submitted, together with all supporting information so that the Filipino people can judge for themselves who has been transparent and who is simply being politically targeted.
Oh, ayan na, politically targeted. So ngayon, ino-authorize niya na may labas yung affidavit na isinabmit niya, maybe sa ICI. Yung tanong, ano kaya ang mga sinabmit niyang yon? Kasi hindi ipinalabas di ba? Pero ngayon, ino-authorize niya kung sino man ang may hawak na pwede nang ipalabas sa public. May something dito Matutumbok na kasi talaga yung kanyang pinsan. Kaya, ang posibilidad nito, ilalaglag nila kasi kumbaga yung si Zaldico 'di ba hawak niya yung mga evidence. So magkasama pa si Marcos Jr. at saka itong si Martin Romualdez na ilalaglag si Zaldico na hanggang Zaldico lang hindi pwedeng umakyat ng House Speaker. Ngayon, humihina na. Nakita ninyo yung proseso or yung stages ba? Nakasama ka ngayon tapos later on stage by stage, pakyat ng pakyat hanggang papunta na sa'yo, ilalaglag ka na. Ganun ang mangyayari dito Kasi makita nyo, nagsipagkalasan na sila doon sa kanyang partido. Nagsasalita na si Rimulya about makakasuhan. Tapos ngayon, nagsalita na siya. Mapansin ninyo yung background ni Martin Romualdez. Pansinin niyo yung background niya. Hindi ito sa bahay niya This is not something na alam mo yun na hindi ka nagtatago. Background pa lang niya hindi mo mawari kung nasaan siya. Hindi siya yung normal na 'di ba dati nagsasalita siya na parang yung ganito, ayan, ganyan.
Sa papilyang Duterte, siguro konting galing naman sa ating mahalang presidente at saka pamilya niya. Yung paano
Mga ganyan dati ang background niya. Ayan, mga
the
ganyan
House of
dati.
Representatives.
Mga ganyan.
Now let us address the
Saan kayo nagtatago to?
most absurd accusation of all, that I am supposedly the mastermind of this corruption scheme. How can I be the mastermind? I was the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, but the House of Representatives is only one part of the branch of government, the legislature. The national budget is not conceived, executed, implemented, bidded out, supervised, and completed by one congressman or even by Congress alone. And so,
Diba? Yan yung sinasabi natin na hindi po pwede si Zaldico lang. Hindi po pwede na ma-execute ni Zaldico yan kung walang approval mo. Pero ang gusto nyo dati, si Zaldico. Ngayon, ikaw yung nilalaglag, ikaw na yung nagsasabi, yung sinasabi natin or sinasabi ni Zaldico na paano kung ma-execute to kung walang approval mo. O ngayon, sasabihin mo naman, paano ko ma-execute ito kung walang approval niya? Ah, laglagan na 'to.
Certainly not by the Speaker of the House.
Hmm.
I want to make this simple and clear. The national budget does not depend on just one person. The budget does not begin in the House. It begins in the executive.
President yon. Pinsan mo yon.
The agencies and departments prepare their proposals. The executive consolidates them into the National Expenditure Program,
NEP.
and that program is then submitted to Congress. From there, the House deliberates, but the House is not one person, and it is certainly not the Speaker alone.
Tama.
It is a collegial body made up of hundreds of members, multiple committees, vice chairs, and institutional processes. In fact, there are around 85 committees, each with its own jurisdiction, leadership, and members. No speaker can personally control every committee, much less direct the actions of other branches or government agencies. And in the Appropriations Committee itself,
Kontrolado nyo, kayong magpinsan.
there are already more than 100 members, with many vice chairs, and Representative Toby Tiangco, who has been very vocal and upfront on this issue over the past months, was himself a vice chair of the Appropriations Committee in the previous Congress. So I have to ask, if there were real concerns about irregularities in the budget process, why were these not formally raised during the deliberations, or even during the plenary?
Nire-raise yan ni Toby Tiangco. Kaya lang ayaw nyo siyang pakinggan. So ngayon, naniniwala ka na sa sinasabi ni Toby Tiangco dahil ikaw ay nilalaglag na.
The budget deliberation does not stop in the House. The Senate also conducts its own deliberations, reviews its own version, and plays its own role in shaping the final budget, and it is not a bystander.
Yung bycam nyo.
It is an active constitutional participant in this process. After that, the House and the Senate reconcile their versions in the bicameral conference committee. Only then is the final bill
Meron pa, yung small committee.
transmitted to the President for approval or veto. So let us be honest about what becomes law. The national budget is not the act of one person or one chamber. It is a product of a constitutional chain involving the executive,
Ayos to. Exciting na to. Now, finally, the former speaker is trying to point out na the President himself.
the House, and the Senate. This is something I want the public to understand. The budget process is collective, multi-layered, and shared. Accountability must apply to everyone involved, not selectively assigned after the fact.
Ba't ngayon mo lang kasi sinasabi yan? Tagal na naming sinasabi yan. Kayo, Zaldico, at saka si Marcos Jr.
And certainly not when it becomes politically useful. If corruption were to occur in a magnitude may
Ito
no
lang masabi ko sa'yo. Masasabi mo pa ba yan?
known to us over the past months, then it's clear that the real corruption does not happen at the level of the general legislative approval alone. It happens at the level of execution of the General Appropriations Act. It happens when projects are implemented. It happens where projects are actually implemented, where procurement is undertaken, where monetary disbursements are actually made. And it happens when substandard projects are passed off as legitimate or when ghost projects are made to appear real. That is why command responsibility is far more logically relevant in the executive branch, where there is actual supervision, operational control, and implementation on the ground, than in the collegial legislative body, where constitutional role is deliberation and appropriation. Congress does not build flood control projects. Congress does not conduct procurement. Congress does not inspect whether a project was actually completed. Congress does not certify whether the work done was substandard or not. So if the allegation is that there was a systemic corruption in flood control implementation, then the public should ask the obvious question: where does implementation actually happen? Definitely not in the session hall of the House of Representatives. Here's the simplest way to test that theory that I am the mastermind of this scheme. If I were truly involved in a fraudulent scheme of this nature, then the first place one would expect to see that pattern would be in my own district, in the projects most easily associated with me. you would have seen it in Tacloban. But I say this with absolute certainty. You won't see it in my district. My district has 0 ghost and 0 substandard flood control projects. 0. And that is verifiable. To prove this point, I'm authorizing my staff to share and release to the public the list of all the projects in my district that the authorities may deem attributable to me. Let the public scrutinize and verify for themselves. As I already mentioned, corruption
Alam mo
of
kung bakit wala sa inyo sa Leyte? Kasi ginawa nyo yan sa ibang distrito, ibang lugar. Kaya malinis kayo magtrabaho. Parang si Sandro Marcos, nagkaroon ng project sa Pangasinan, mga ganon. Di-distribute nila yan sa mga ibang bayan, dinala nila sa Bulacan, kung saan-saan, para hindi matrace. Kaya nga nakita nyo kung nung na-expose na meron pala sa Ilocos Norte, medyo pinagtatakpan-takpan pa nila.
this scale is not a one-man operation. It requires 2 things: budget decisions and implementation on the ground. With respect to how the budget was deliberated in Congress, let me say this categorically. I was not a part of the BICAM and the small committee budget deliberations. Yes, I was updated
Hindi ka parte?
on the general outcomes of the deliberations, but I had no visibility with regard to the specific details of the discussions,
Paano ka hindi parte? Nandun ka.
including particular amendments or insertions approved during these closed-door deliberations.
Ano yung balita na dalawa kayo sa pinaka malaking appropriations ba yun? Sandro Marcos at saka ikaw. King of pork barrel.
Records would show that I did not participate in those meetings and I was not privy to what exactly transpired during the deliberations.
Alam mo, tutulungan ka namin. Susuportahan ka namin. Naniniwala ko sa sinasabi. Except sa part na damay mo sila. Kasi hindi pwede na ikaw lang yan. So,
However, 2 people were instrumental in making those budget decisions: Chis Escudero and Zaldico. And once the budget
ikaw? Paano ka? 2 people? Zaldico saka si speaker? Si Chis Escudero? Paano ka?
becomes law, the work of implementing flood control
Sabi?
in making those budget decisions. However, 2 people were instrumental in making those budget decisions:
Oof.
Chis Escudero and Zaldico. And once the budget becomes law, the work of implementing flood control projects, or any project for that matter, is solely within the purview of the executive, including the DPWH, certainly not by legislators.
Executive? President ba yan?
I understand the anger of the public. The
Yari.
Filipino people have every right to be angry because
Question,
public funds are taxes
Nyari.
Congressman Toby
derived from hard-earned money. I'm not asking the public to look away. I'm asking everyone to look where the evidence points, not where it is politically convenient or politically motivated. So I ask the Ombudsman and the public these questions. Who has been named in sworn testimonies and affidavits?
Ikaw. Pangalan mo yun eh.
Whose name actually appeared in credible accounts made under oath? If there are sworn accounts pointing to other personalities across the chain,
Ikaw, saka si Presidente.
whether in budget deliberation
Mr. Romualdez was supposed to
or in implementation, then those leads must be pursued with the same seriousness and the same urgency. Accountability cannot be selective. For months, I chose silence because I believe in our legal system and in the rule of law. But my silence is now being exploited with politically engineered and fabricated narratives. What's even more disturbing, and this is something that cannot be ignored, is that there are emerging indications that certain sectors are attempting to weaponize individuals, including Zaldico, to construct a narrative that serves their own interests. So when the legal processes is being used against me as a political demolition job, then I will have no choice but to defend myself. And I will defend myself fully. I will not allow myself to be turned into the scapegoat so that others who are actually accountable can walk away clean. If this is a political play to push me out and close the story, tarnishing my name and my reputation, then I'm telling everyone now, I will not go quietly and I will not go alone. I will not be the fall guy for other people's corruption. I have been in public life long enough, I have seen enough, I have heard enough. I know many things about this current administration and past administrations as well. And I say this carefully.
Tayo dyan.
If this matter is to be handled as a legal issue, then let it be handled legally, soberly, and according to evidence. But if certain people insist on waging this in the court of public opinion, then I will have no choice but to defend myself publicly as well. To the Ombudsman, I say this with full respect. If your office truly believes in justice, then follow the sworn statements, follow the records, and follow the evidence all the way. Do not stop where it is politically convenient. Do not settle for the easiest headline. Do not confuse public pressure with prosecutorial duty. What I ask of the Office of the Ombudsman is simple. Follow the rule of law and due process. This is a serious matter and it should be handled with seriousness, not with haste, theatrics, or shortcuts. I'm ready and willing to respond to every allegation in the proper forum, through the proper pleadings, motions, and submissions that the law allows. And to those who think they can throw me under the bus to save themselves, this is what I have to say to you. I am ready to defend my name. My silence should not be mistaken
May name ka pa ba?
for weakness, ignorance, or fear. I know enough to defend myself, and if I am forced to do so in public, I will. Maraming salamat.
In public. Yo! Saldi ko the second na to. Alam nyo, may balak tong tumakas. Kasi sabi ni Remulla, nagpaalam daw na lalabas pupuntang Singapore kasi magpapacheck up. Pero by looking at this, hindi naman siya mukhang magpapacheck up. Panoorin natin anong sabi ni Remulla.
To have a check
Best friend. Oy, backtrack muna tayo.
up in
Alalahanin ninyo, yung itong si Remulla ay kasama doon sa group effort. Sa group effort na yun, alam natin kung sino yung mastermind doon. Si Marcos Jr. So ngayon, kung ngayon binibira or inilalagay na sa pedestal ni Remulla itong si Martin Romualdez, alam na natin kung sino yung nasa likod nung ginagawa at sinasabi itong si Remulla ngayon. So, with that, we can therefore conclude na itong si Martin Romualdez finally ay kailangan na nilang ilaglag. And nakita ninyo ang oral arguments just now. Diba, na-expose doon yung ginawang pambababoy, pambabalahura sa pondo ng bayan by using the unprogram appropriations. Unprogram appropriations. And all those lead to the DBM, which the DBM and Solgen Berberabe, hindi niya ma-point out na ito ay sa presidente. Ito ay sa kumpas ng presidente. Hindi nila ma-point out. Kundi ang pino-point out lang nila sa DBM ito. DBM ito. So asahan ninyo, susunod nila na ilalaglag, yan, Martin Romualdez, Amena Pangandaman, susunod dyan yung sila Bersamin, yung mga ganyan. So susunod yung mga yan kasi they would prevent na makakarating itong accountability na ito kay Marcos Jr. So panoorin natin to.
Singapore, I think. They were trying to ask us to allow him to leave. But because we have a bulletin, a lookout order with immigration about those that who are under investigation, we did not respond favorably to the request that he be allowed to leave. Because, magkakaroon na naman ng haka-haka at kuro-kuro yan. Mabuti lang, sana naman, dito lang siya magpa-check up. Kasi naman, magagaling naman ang doktor natin dito. Actually, they were burning the lines yesterday and up to this morning. But ako, I held my ground. Sabi ko, when you join government, you already surrender your right to travel, especially to another jurisdiction, especially if you're under investigation.
Kailan sana siya bumiyahe sa Singapore?
Today dapat. Hindi namin siya pinaalis, hindi namin pinayagan na ma-lift yung bulletin niya kasi nga, naka-lookout order because we've been investigating him actively. Baka hindi na bumalik eh.
Final na to. Nilaglag na talaga si Martin Romualdez. Kasi, di ba sabi niya, nanahimik ako. Oh, ganun din si Zaldico, nanahimik ako only to find out na ganito ang ginagawa sa akin. So, hindi ako papayag. Oh. Ganun din si Zaldico. Magsasalita na ako ngayon. Kahit sa public, sabi niya. So, this is a confirmation eh. Kasi kung hindi nila nilaglag ito or hindi nila ilaglag ito, walang ganitong press con si Remulla. Alam na natin eh, ganitong setup din. Din yung ginawa nila kay Zaldico.
We don't want that to happen.
Sinabi po ba niyo kung ano sakit na ipapagawa?
Well, siguro heart, sugar, diabetes,
Heart. Pero tignan ninyo. Okay naman siya. So that means talagang may plano itong tatakas. Tumakas.
usual diseases of our generation. 5 araw yata hinihingi. Kaya lang, syempre nga, ang problema dyan, para namang sobrang coincidental na nahuli si Zaldico sa Europe, bigla siyang aalis. Baka mamaya, wala na tayo mapanghawakan dito sa bansang ito. Lahat ng ating nais pasagutin, mawala na lang sa ating jurisdiction. Nag-iingat lang po tayo. Pinag-iingatan natin ang karapatan ng ating bayan din. May karapatan din tayo mga Pilipino na sabihin sa kanya, wag muna umalis.
Di ba? At hindi lang yan. I-freeze pa yung kanya.
Sir, baka meron na po kayong update on other flood control cases that you're investigating?
Well, there have been many things happening in the past few days. Well, we're waiting for the AMLAC, the MANLC, to file a freeze order on Martin Romualdez. We already endorsed a complaint to them. We're waiting for the Romualdez case to start rolling, or the Romualdez cases to start rolling. And the first case would be about money laundering. Ayun ang hinihintay namin na matagal natin hinihintay na magsimula na ang paglabas ng mga kasong ito na high level talaga. So, well, Mr.
Grabe pala talaga itong si Bongbong, ano? I mean, hindi na ako magtaka kasi mismong tumulong sa kanya na maipalibing sa libingan ng mga bayani, tatay niya, walang nakagawang presidente doon. Tinraidor niya. Tumulong sa kanyang maging presidente si VP Sara. Tinraidor niya. Tinalikuran niya, iniwan niya sa ere yung kanyang kapatid na si Senator Amy Marcos. Ganun ang ginawa niya eh. So para, alam mo yung feeling na kahit pala kamag-anak mo to, kahit pala ang laki ng utang na loob ng taong ito, kaya kanyang traidorin, kaya kanyang talikuran ng ganun-ganun. Yung bang nung panahon na kailangan niyang ma-redeem yung mga pangalan nila, kailangan nila ng kakampi, yung sinamahan mo ng sinamahan, tapos after all of those sacrifices na ginawa mo, grabe pala no, ang ano nito, nung ugali nito, na magkasama ka ngayon sa hapagkainan, nagtatawanan kayo, yung magkakuntsaba kayo sa kabalbalan at korupsyon, tapos yun, ilalaglag ka din. Very dangerous yung ganitong klase ng tao.
Romualdez was
Bait daw.
supposed to have a checkup in Singapore, I think. They were trying to ask us to allow him to leave. But because we have a bulletin, a lookout order with immigration about those that were under investigation, we did not respond favorably to the request that he be allowed to leave. Because, ano yan eh, magkakaroon na naman ng haka-haka at kuro-kuro yan. Mabuti lang, sabi ang sana naman, dito lang siya magpa-check up. Kasi naman, magaling naman ang doktor natin dito.
Nung unang nakita ko to, inisip ko, ano lang nila ito. pakulo lang nila ito para sabihin may ginagawa sila. Nina-account nila pero hindi rin naman nila itutuloy yan. Kasi big fish na 'to, eh. Ito yung second highest na big fish. Pero nung nakita ko na ngayon na nagsalita mismo si Romualdez and taking from the words na mga sinabi ni Martin Romualdez, nilaglag na nga talaga siya. Hindi siya magsasalita kasi nakita ko na 'tong pattern na 'to kay Zaldico, eh, na pinatahimik nila muna, "Diyan ka lang muna, kami nang bahala dito." Kunwari, alam mo 'yun, kunwari implicate ka namin pero hindi ka namin ilalaglag. Pero nung lumabas na si Zaldico, hindi 'yun basta-basta lalabas si Zaldico na magsasalita ng gano'n. Kung nasa isip niya na hindi pa siya nilalaglag. So kumbaga nakakita na siya ng ano, ng window na siya ay ilalaglag din. So ang ginawa niya, inuna.
Actually, they were burning the rice yesterday and up to this morning. But ako, I have background, sabi ko, when you join government, you already surrender your right to travel, especially to another job. Bumalik eh. You know, you don't want that to happen.
Before, ano po yung development?
Active pa rin ang investigation. We will be conducting a PI soon. One thing I can tell you. I was in the briefing yesterday of the case build-up and government. Yes, I was in the briefing yesterday of the case build-up. And it's going well. The papers are being, the theories are very strong and the papers are being prepared as we speak. So the complaint will soon be on the stage of preliminary investigation.
Sir, may freeze order po ba for Senator Escudero?
We will get there also. Papunta rin tayo dyan. Kasi dito kasi, nung nagkaroon ng Tamarind, 30 Tamarind transaction, we took it from there to start investigating that money angle. Kaya, one of the active cases right now is money laundering. Yun ang talagang pinupush namin sa AMLAC na ma-resolve kagad para ma-freeze natin ang funds. Ano yan, mabigat kasi yan. You'll find out later on pagka pwede na namin ilabas ang detalye.
Ombudsman, related pa rin to dun sa pinakaunang case involving Romualdez siya kay Escudero, yung money laundering case.
Hindi, iba pa to. This is a different, iba na naman to. This is different.
But still related to the flood control scandal.
Probably. It's related to corruption and money laundering.
So-
I mean, corruption is a predicate crime that's attached to money laundering.
So clear na iniimbestigahan po ngayon si former House Speaker for alleged corruption and for the...
For money laundering. Yeah. Kaya, ang sinisip namin, magkaroon ng ma-freeze order para mapangalagaan natin yung mga dapat yung mga salapi na dapat pag-aari ng bayan. Yun po yung ating hinahabing.
Okay. Tapos, Ombudsman, you mentioned kanina na kapag nakabalik dito si Zaldico at isasama niyo siya to explain matters still under investigation.
Oh yes, meron pa kami
Ano
iba.
yung mga issue na ito? Bukod sa flood control?
Iba to. Flood control. Pati yung main case. Yung main case of plunder, conspiracy to commit plunder. Kasama siya dyan sa main case. Na kasama rin, yun nga, former speaker at former Senate President.
So malaking tulong po talaga kapag nakabalik na dito si Zaldico to shed light on this.
To shed light, or if he's not going to shed light, to listen to his denial. Dalawa lang naman yan. Diba? Kung aakuin niya o itatanggi niya. Kung aakuin niya, di sabihin niya kung ano nangyari. Kung itatanggi niya, di sabihin niya kung anong depensa niya.
Also, bicameral members.
Hi, Chief Romy.
Kindly convey to the entire AFP, to our men and women in uniform, that as we committed, that the subsistence daily allowance from 150 to 350 has not only been affirmed but has been approved and is being signed right now. We will ratify the bicameral report this afternoon. So please tell that
Allocables ni na presidential son Sandro Marcos at former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ayon sa PCIJ, ito raw ang bagong muka ng pork barrel at ang dalawa ang alleged pork barrel kings. May sagot naman ang Malacanang dito. Ang detalye sa agenda report ni Ivy Reyes.
May tiwala ang Pangulo sa anak niyang si House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos na kaya nitong tugunan ang mga kwestiyon laban sa kanyang allocable projects sa 1st District ng Ilocos Norte. Ang allocable ay termino sa DPWH na nangangahulugan ng automatic funds sa ahensya para pondohan ang mga infrastructure project na nakatuon sa social development. Sa isang report ng Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism o PCIJ, napag-alaman na top 1 and 2 sa listahan na may pinakamalaking allocables si Congressman Sandro at si presidential cousin and late 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez. Ayon sa PCIJ, sa 1.2 trillion peso allocables mula 2023,
Grabe yan ah.
Sandro at 14.4 billion pesos naman kay Congressman Martin.
Alam naman po ng Pangulo na alam ni Congressman Sandro Marcos ang kanyang ginagawa at alam niya po kung paano ito sasagutin.
Nagsimula ang pag-usbong ng allocables noong 2023 sa ilalim ni dating DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan sa pamamagitan ng tinatawag na BBM Parametric Formula o Baseline, Balanced, and Managed Formula na tanging si former DPWH Undersecretary Catalina Cabral lang daw ang nakakaintindi. Ipinapasok ang mga allocable sa National Expenditure Program o President's Budget. Kung bakit nanunuot mula sa District Engineering DPWH.
Nakita nyo yan? Nag-umpisa yung allocable nung panahon ni Bunuan. At ang balita, dalawa ang merong allocables na pinakamalaki, Sandro Marcos at saka si Martin Romualdez. Pero nakita ninyo, nauna pa si Martin Romualdez kaysa dito sa taong to. Di ba? So makikita nyo talaga, selective. Meron silang, ano mo yun, pag ini-mini mo, pag ito na, pupunta na dito, may tuturo yung presidente, tanggalin to. Pag ito, ganito, o yan, tanggalin yan, o Zaldico, tanggalin na yan. Ganun ang style eh. Kasi kung tutuusin, ano yan eh, network yung corruption na yan, hindi magagawa ng isang tao. Tama naman sabi ni Martin Romualdez, hindi magagawa ng isang House Congressman lang yan. Network yan. Mula baba hanggang sa pinakataas. At hindi po pwede na ang mastermind ay si Martin Romualdez. Mastermind yan talaga si Marcos Jr. At syempre dalawa sila magpinsan. Kumbaga yung si dating chairman ng appropriations na si Zaldico, ano lang yung ano niya? Kumbaga duty lang niya na sundin ang utos ng dalawang magpinsan. Pero saan ka nakakita? This is unimaginable, unexpected talaga. Hindi na sa hinagap, hindi ka makapaniwala na inilaglag mismo ang kanyang pinsan. Hindi talaga sukdulan ang ugali nitong si Marcos Jr. Alam nyo, first time talaga ako nakakita ng ganitong klaseng tao. Parang yung sinabi ni, ito yung totoo. Yung kay Erap, hindi yung totoo. Walang kaibigan. Walang kamag-anak. Ito, si Marcos Jr., walang kamag-anak. Kung kinakailangan ilalaglag ka. Okay lang sana kung walang kamag-anak. In a way na para sa taong bayan. Hindi ito para sa kanyang sariling interest na hindi siya madapuan, hindi makarating sa kanya yung kaso. Gagawin ang lahat kahit at the expense of kanyang pinsan. Kadugo, wala yan sa kanya. So, sige, abangan natin ang mga susunod na mangyayari dito dahil talaga, ito, nag-umpisa ng magsalita itong si Martin Romualdez, hindi na ito titigil. Nakita nyo naman kung balikan natin yung sinabi ni Marcos Jr. Kagaya rin ito nung sinabi ni Marcos Jr. na may impeach ba si Sara Duterte? Sabi niya, hindi. Why? Why would she be impeached? Sabi niya, she cannot be impeached. Ito yung sabi niya dati kay Martin Romualdez.
One more point on your presentation. Very obvious.
very noticeable po na marami sa mga pangalan binanggit ninyo, DPWH officials, contractors, pero kakonte, if at all, yung mga nabanggit na legislators who are.
Well, no, they're part of the list. We'll give you the complete list. I just didn't go through them because there are like 37 of them. So you'll get, as I said, you'll get a briefer, which will give you more detail on all of the things that I've said today.
Is the former speaker included in the list, sir?
I don't think so because no. The only evidence that has been made against him is in the
Diba? Diretsahan niyang sinabi.
in the Senate. So I don't know. We don't. No, with the speaker, no. Not as yet. Not as yet. If something else comes out, then he might have to be answerable for something. So, again, we don't file cases.
So, kapag may sinasabi itong tao na ito na, hindi ka kasama dyan. Ay, hindi mo ipapadala sa ICC si Duterte. Ay, hindi ma-impeach si Sara. Ay, hindi kasama yung pinsan ko. Huwag kayo maniwala. Kasi ito lahat gagawin. Maisalba lang yung sarili niyang interest.